Sami Cone Show.
My next guest is a Grammy-Award winner personally signed by Jay-Z, whose music has garnered millions of views and streams. Please help me welcome Victory to the Sami Cone Show. Hi, Victory. Welcome.
Hi, Sami. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It seems weird to be talking to you on Zoom because I was able to attend this album release that you did in Nashville, and we're going to get to that, but I kind of led in with this signed by Jay-Z, Grammy Award winning. I mean, those two things alone, not very many artists can say. Can you give our audience who maybe hasn't listened to you or heard of you yet a little bit of your background to what led to that point?
Yeah, so much. Really, my journey starts with my family. I have eight siblings, and we grew up singing together. And on top of singing together with my family, our parents founded the Boys and Girls Choirs of Detroit. So we also sang in the community choir in Detroit where I grew up. And so it was a lot of singing with a lot of kids all the time. And that's how I got my start. And that's a long ways from, being in the commercial music industry and winning a Grammy and but it all starts with humble beginnings. And, you never underestimate what is seemingly small, because it only takes a seed that is consistently nurtured for it to one day become a forest.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love that you say that, because that's an important message for all of us, regardless of whether or not we're in music. And I mean, I know it's taken years to lead up to this, the release of your first gospel album. You've got to be beyond excited about that. Has that been a journey for you?
Yeah, I thought that I'd have to be extremely famous and successful and literally be at the top of the world before I could have earned the right to authentically express every aspect of myself, including my faith. And it was really the journey I had when I wrote music with Kanye. He specifically asked me to help him write his album Jesus is King. Wow. And that experience for me really broke me out of this shell of these rules of what you can and can't do, and what is allowed and what is acceptable. I got my dream of amplifying the gospel from the top of the secular music industry at 25 years old, when I wrote the lyrics for two of the songs on Kanye's album. And it wasn't like in a concealed way where I have to have metaphors and imagery. And, my first album was that, my album, The Broken Instrument, which came out in 2018. That whole album is full of metaphors that are pointing to Jesus. And that was the extent to which I'd be able to share my faith until I became extremely well known. And one thing that Kanye really got on my case about was, don't be bashful about saying his name. Like, go ahead, go in and declare his word, declare his name, declare. And so, of course, he was and is still one of the most famous people in the world. So he had all of that license. But one thing that really stuck with me from that was to receive license from God. Don't wait for people or society or culture to give you the license to be yourself.
That's so good, Victor. We have to wrap up, but just like I said, I saw you at your album release, and I mean, you were proclaiming the name of the Savior in a very kind of hip, millennial, dark spot in Nashville with just a couple words. Can you describe that experience and what it meant and what you hope people take away from that and from the new album?
Yes. Ultimately, I hope that people would hear the good news of the gospel, and that we're not left without a savior. We are not left in darkness. Darkness does not have to have the final say. The whole message of Glory Hour is that at the appointed time, glory will come and devour darkness in the same way that it does every morning once
Amen.
the sun. And so that's what I want. That's the message I wanted to take to that club in Nashville.
Yeah.
That's the message that I want to take everywhere, really.
Well, you're doing it powerfully. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to listen to Victory's new album, Glory Hour. All the instruments you play on it, really, you have a beautiful voice, you have a beautiful spirit, and thank you for joining us today, Victory.
You're very welcome, Kristen.